What's going on, guys? Chinese Guy here. Welcome back to another episode of News Roundup. This is a series on my channel that runs every Sunday, and in it I will basically summarize the latest news for Battlefield 4, Battlefield Hardline, Battlefront 3, and just any other interesting topics. So let's get started. First on our list of news topics for this week is that Visceral Games is changing Battlefield Hardline's gameplay and balancing based on gamers' opinions from the beta test. General Manager Steve Platoon confirmed in a recent interview with VG247 that Battlefield Hardline will be supporting faction-specific weapons. He said, and I quote, "In the beta, everyone used all the same weapons. We wondered if people would like it if they invested in their P90, but when they were on the other faction, they couldn't use it." So now this means Battlefield Hardline will follow the tradition of previous Battlefield games like Battlefield 3 in restricting certain weapons to one side or another. Now personally, I love this idea. It actually makes me want to try this game again and give it another chance. If Visceral Games wants to make Battlefield Hardline a realistic cops and robbers shooter, then it's a good idea not to give criminals M16s and have them use more traditional guns like the AK. Plus, it kinda creates this weird bond with your gun and makes you actually want to use it more and more, and instead of just relying on stats, which I still think it's going to be a thing, but maybe aesthetics will play more into your decision making. Platoon also confirms that explosives and heavy weapons are being changed as well. They are designed as an important part of the game's combat because they allow players to take down vehicles, but however, allowing players to simply walk into a battle with RPGs and lock on missile launchers didn't make a whole lot of sense in a cops and robbers scene. Plus, it created problems with balancing since the vehicles are pretty weak in Battlefield Hardline. So now, certain heavy weapons will be loaded in your vehicle instead of having your character carrying it around. This allows you to then say pull a rocket launcher out of your car's trunk and then use it in battle. But now this also works in both ways. An enemy can open your trunk and steal your weapon. In a way, you can say that RPGs and other heavy weaponry will work sort of like a battle pickup but less rare. Once again, I agree with Visceral's ideas. It really suits the whole cops and robbers theme with no police carrying RPGs, because that just does not make sense. This way they can also limit the amount of explosions in this game and keep it aligned with the whole theme. I mean, you just don't see SWAT team members running around with RPGs unless it's their last hope at stopping the criminals, but even that seems a bit far-fetched. Now, to give you guys a bit more information for Battlefield Hardline, there was a beta held on multiple platforms this summer, but about a month after that, Visceral Games announced that they were delaying this game's release from fall 2014 to early 2015. They said that they want to further evolve the cops and criminals fantasy of the multiplayer and also enhance the campaign. Now, Visceral plans to hold a second beta about a month before the official release of this game, but the studio hasn't announced any specific dates yet. Next, moving on, there has been over 30 minutes of pre-alpha footage leaked online of Free Radical's cancelled Star Wars Battlefront 3 game. The footage shows off a rough concept of what the game would have been if it weren't cancelled. Now, to confirm, this footage is not, I repeat, is not DICE's version of Battlefront 3, but if you still want to check out this footage, links are down below. But anyways, speaking about DICE's version of Battlefront 3, this game is well at works and is definitely not going to be cancelled anytime soon. However, it is expected to launch sometime around the release of the new Star Wars movie in 2015, probably around the holiday season if I had to guess. Next, I have some pretty good news for you console players out there which wants to play the CTE but can't because you don't want to buy an extra copy for Battlefield 4 on the PC and Battlefield 4 Premium in order for you to register for the CTE. So now officially DICE has allowed any players on the consoles, whether you're on the Xbox One, the PS4, the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation 3, you will be given the opportunity to register your EA Origin login so you can have access to the CTE, but the only catch is that the CTE will be only on PC and it won't be on the actual consoles. So I would say this news is only really beneficial to people who actually has a powerful gaming PC and just does not want to spend extra money to buy another copy of Battlefield 4 just to access something which is not really necessary. And for those of you that doesn't know what the CTE is, or the community test environment, it is basically a way for DICE to gather real-time feedback from Battlefield 4 players about the upcoming updates and DLC launches for this shooter. You can send them feedbacks and opinions, and hopefully they can get back to you and maybe even implement it into the game. But anyways, if you do own a copy of Battlefield 4 Premium and Battlefield 4 on one of the consoles, and you have a okay PC that can run Battlefield 4, I will have a link down below for you to register your EA Origin account so you can have access to the CTE. Lastly, for today's episode of News Roundup, the last topic might not be too important for most of you guys, but remember back when Battlefield 4 first launched about a year ago and the crazy problem it had? It was pretty clear that things weren't meant to be that way. Investors who put money into EA saw their stock prices drop after Battlefield 4's buggy launch and sued EA. Back in December of 2013, a group of investors sued EA over false and misleading statements saying that EA hyped Battlefield 4 up to be one of the best games of the year, while in fact it turned out to be a failure at launch, and some may even argue till now. But in the end though, while the Battlefield brand has been hurt quite a lot, I would say Battlefield 4 still sold millions of copies, and overall EA's stock is one of the better performing video game stocks over the past year or so, and the lawsuit has been overruled in EA's favor by US District Judge Susan Eelston, who said that EA wasn't completely misleading their investors. They were simply making inactionable statements of opinions and corporate optimism. So in other words, EA was being very optimistic about Battlefield 4, but did not outright lie to their investors. But I would say they certainly lied to the gamers, because I would think if people knew about these problems before they have bought the game, I would think Battlefield 4 would not have had at least half of their sales. Anyways, that's all the news I have for you guys in this episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it and found this video useful. And down in the comments, tell me how you guys feel about Visceral's ideas of balancing Battlefield Hardline, like having RPGs and other rocket launchers a more rare item. I would love to get your thoughts and opinions, and hopefully I can reply to you guys and get a conversation going on down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Peace out, guys.